Welcome to the What is Stoicism podcast.
Caroline Rosewater and Amanita Buntline are the names of two characters in Kurt Vonnegut's novel, God Bless You, Mr. Rosewater. Caroline is the disappointed wife of Fred Rosewater, a struggling life insurance salesman. Amanita is Caroline's wealthy friend. Comparing her own life to her friend's, Caroline exists in a perpetual state of envy. She would swap places with the rich Amanita in an instant. Part of the story sees the pair browsing an expensive gift shop, with Amanita taking the lead as usual. In the short scene, Vonnegut concisely conveys the dynamic of the relationship, as well as Caroline's general state of mind. Quote, Caroline's manner was a wispy echo of Amanita's. Caroline was made clumsy by the fact that Amanita was forever between her and whatever seemed worth examining. The moment Amanita stopped looking at something, moved from between it and Caroline, the object somehow stopped being worth examining. Caroline was made clumsy by other facts too, of course. That her husband worked, that she was wearing a dress that everybody knew had been Amanita's, that she had very little money in her purse. End quote. It's often said that comparison is the thief of joy. Like Caroline Rosewater, when we glorify other people's lives in relation to our own, we lose the ability to think for ourselves. We're made clumsy. We develop desires for items based solely on someone else's interest in that item. When they lose interest in it, we do too. Our self-confidence is depleted because of all the external ways we believe we're inferior. Status, reputation, wealth, achievements, and so on. We blindly follow an idea that we have allowed to take hold of us, that someone else knows better than us what we should be doing with our lives. The Stoics would say that at such times, we need to reevaluate. We need to consult ourselves. Less value should be placed on externals. Greater value should be placed on looking within. Just like us, the Stoic Emperor Marcus Aurelius had to remind himself to do this. Powerful as he was, he could have competed with anyone when it came to acquiring wealth and status, and yet the following passage from his Meditations reveals that he resisted. Quote, How much freedom is gained if a man ignores what his neighbour said or did, or intended, and considers only what he himself is doing, and how to make his actions just and right, the kinds of things a good man would do. Don't let your attention be caught by the darkness of others' humours. Just run straight on the line, with no ungainly movements. End quote. We really don't need to keep up with the acquisitions of others. We don't need what they're showing off. The novelty will inevitably wear off anyway. We'll gain an amazing sense of freedom if we concentrate on making our actions just and right. Why let our attention be stolen by the pursuit of things we probably didn't want in the first place? Being a good person seems like a much better use of our time. And it isn't just individuals that may lead us down a path of envy and desire. As Seneca put it, we need to be wary of finding things appealing, based only on the appearance that they're popular. Here's what the Stoic philosopher says in his On the Happy Life essay. Quote, So let us inquire what is the best, not what is the most customary, thing to do, and what establishes our claim to unending happiness, not what the rabble, that worst of truth's exponents, has set its stamp of approval on. But by rabble I mean grand people just as much as ordinary folk, for I have no regard for the colour of clothing that adorns the body. In judging a man I do not trust my eyes. I have a better and more reliable light, by which to distinguish truth from falsehood. Let the soul's goodness be discovered by the soul. End quote. So again we return to the Stoic line of thinking. What is the best thing to do? The just thing? The right thing? Not necessarily the most customary thing. We don't necessarily need to follow convention or perpetuate the common chain reactions of envy and desire. To help us get to this point of self-trust, I've constructed a short exercise that might help in situations where we feel tempted to compare our lives to those of others. I've called it the Self-Consultation technique. When to use it? Use the self-consultation technique whenever you feel envious about the wealth, possessions, status, or other external factors that someone else seems to be enjoying. What to use it for? Use this technique to gain the freedom of considering only what you are doing at a given moment. The idea is to consult yourself, to reevaluate. You should see that the inner pursuit of building your character is worth more than chasing the fleeting pleasures that others are highlighting. How does the self-consultation technique work? Here are a set of steps you can use to carry it out. Step 1. Close your eyes and picture the situation or individual that is triggering feelings of envy or comparison in your life. Reflect on why these triggers affect you and how they make you feel inadequate or inferior. Step 2. Remind yourself of the importance of focusing inward rather than constantly comparing yourself to others. Reflect on Marcus Aurelius' determination to be a good person and consider how ignoring what others are saying or doing, as he did, can lead to greater surety and self-confidence. Step 3. Think about Seneca's advice not to follow convention blindly and to question what truly leads to unending happiness. Consider whether the desires you have been pursuing are aligned with your own principles or aspirations, or if they're merely a product of external influences. Step 4. Offer yourself a silent acknowledgement of gratitude for the things you have in your life, rather than focusing on what others possess. Reflect on your own blessings and achievements, no matter how small they may seem in comparison to others. Step 5. Remind yourself to run straight on the line, as Marcus Aurelius put it. Your job is to do the kinds of things a good person would do. Your job is to let the soul's goodness be discovered by the soul. I hope you find this exercise useful in building your self-assurance. With regular practice of the self-consultation technique, we can begin to make progress towards the state that Seneca placed so great an importance on, being our own friend.